Asinibingelele babukeli namhlanje nahlelweni ihlelo young climber. Awubukeli into letindekalayo eveni kulamalanga ufike bo covid sithi siyavula edikolweni sesiyavala sithi siya emisebenzini sesisebenza emakhaya bafuna bafunza ngelipost kumbe bafunza nga-internet kunjani kuyawuhlukubeda umcondvo asathi noma siyakhona yini lokukhopha asathi noma siyakhona yini asinathi asadade nesisendani siyaphuma noma siyangena kwentekalani lana sibese siyabona lokuthi siyadzinga ukuthi sike sikhulumisane nebandvu laba babantu nje labafundzela lokufunza lengqondo nekuthi bayisite lengqondo ukuthi bangayibambisa kanjani. Ngakho ke namhlanje nasambile sawufuna i-psychologist lapha Nombuso wakamthethwa kuthi akasiside ukuthi siyayidinga yini psychologist nyalo lokusesidana ifike yona isibambise ngani ifike isitepi sathi ngani ukuthi siyayidinga konke lokho mbukeli utabe asichasisela bona Nombuso sehlele kanye ehlelweni hlaka nathi mbukeli sakhuluma naye Nombuso wakamthethwa. Okay Nombuso mhlawumbe umuntu akabonga ukuthi ubeka yena sehlelweni nekuva ke ukuthi la kule field yenu kunabo psychology nabo bani le dinto lesisebenza ngengqondo kuhlukene kangakhe kumbe ungasi introduce us oriented kule field ukuthi wo kule field lena kwentiwa naku kuhlukene kanje mawudzinga lokhu yakuphi kwentekani la khabo psychology.
Okay ngiyabonga warawara ngicale ngikuvusela umbukeli ekhaya ngibonge nethuba lokuthi ngibe khona nani namuhla.
Okay
Kuphendula umbuto wakho ke i-psychology ihluke kaningana. Kunabo clinical psychology, organizational psychology, kunabo counseling psychology. So konke lokho ufike ukufunze kahle hle mawufika esikoleni ukuthi leli kuleli tiko leli badila ngani kanjani. Kodwa ke konke kuhambelana nengqondo. Sifunza ingqondo, seluleka ngekwengqondo. But ke lama fields ke sekuya ngekuthi wena ululeka ufike phi noma uqala phi noma wenda ini ungendi ini kanjalo ke.
Wasithe organizational. Kunengqondo organization iyenda njani usuku ukuthi konke kudila ngengqondo lo mina ukuthi maye konke makudila ngengqondo kusho sine organization inengqondo yayo mhlawumbe mawungathi yendani le organize ne interest kiyo nje yathi.
Okay la organizational psychology ngilabo lovamise kwatfola etinkampanini kakhulu ukhanza basebenta kahle hle nabo HR or human resources. So ke umfluenta iHR nje utakutshela ukuthi makwentiwe interview kuningi labakubuka ukuthi lo muntu ngabe ukhona yini lo msebenzi lesifuna kumqashela wona. So organizational psychology looks into things like that, into employee wellness basically ukuthi ke lama employees lala kule organization engabe aphatheke kahle akhona kusebenta kahle yini akekho yini overworked kude noma workaholics kude bo burnout, all of those things that could affect employers and employees from being productive in an organization.
Okay khuluma ngabo workaholic kuyinkinga yini kuba workaholic thina siva ngazo ukuthi mayi workaholic nje ulala ngabo 2 fangathi uyaphusha wara yathi nami ngiyafusa kufana nawe kunenkinga yini mayi workaholic.
In the field of psychology, we always say we would say the minute something interrupts your normal daily functioning, then it's a problem. You know, we've all heard of the whole thing. You would say too much of a good thing is not a good thing. So, labu workaholic bako, if it now starts affecting other areas in your life, then it's not a good thing. If you can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't function as a husband or as a wife, a kaya, as a mother, then it's a bit of a problem. Everything in your life has to balance. Labu you are mentally healthy. The minute kukhona lokunye lokuthatha more attention than something else and it disrupts the whole system, that's when mental ill health steps in. Sengmeleke sale sikulungisa ke thini ke psychologist.
Kangwane sinabo bo psychologist. Mane thina bowara asathi nekuthingabe nibani nendani vele athi siyeva abantu uva uma ubheka lena psychology nendani la veni ngoba maye nikhona man but thina umuntu we psychology wedani nje la veni thina ngimdzinga mali kuphi la
sikhona but asikho la kubhlungu khona. You know, i mental health kangwane for the longest time has been neglected.
Okay.
To put it bluntly. Mina nje ngaqala kusebenza boma 8 years ago. So I've been in the field for a minute now. And mangisaqala kusebenza bengithi mangifika esibhedlela, whoever is in charge of the clinic, and say I'm offering this service, because I'm explain ukuthi yini ngale psychology. Imcoka ngani, because in our country mental health has been something libe singayinaki, you understand. So mangithi sikhona but asikho, I'm saying ukuthi we have come a long way, but we still need more psychologists, more people that are attending to mental health.
Okay.
Because mental health imcoka. Ngiyo le khona kusita wena ukuthi ufunction. When your mind shuts down, everything shuts down. It's your mind that tells you to wake up. Your mind tells you to eat. Your mind tells you to jabulile, you're not happy, So if your mind is not okay, there's no way you can function. Okay. Nothing functions if your mind is not okay. So taking care of your mind, taking care of how you think, how you process feelings and everything is probably the single most important thing that you can do for yourself.
Ngiyafuna manje ukubuta manje angado ukuthi ngidakubuta kanjani ukuthi le psychologist mina nje ngadingani ukuthi ngiyayidinga ngamne noma ngabe kungathiwa umntwana wakho ulimele kwendekeni ngivethi eish yabona ke lento lena babhizi bayangistressa nje ngelide maybe wena udakuchama ukuthi yathi kenyalo sesikhathi ekugijima ku psychology ngiyanga lesingakhe ku psychologist ngoba lo mnye uteacher bolalela inshumayelo lo mnye uthi ubolalela bofundisa incwadi lo mnye ngalelanga la ngidawuva khona ukuthi hayi nyalo ke sothi nga psychologist ngidawubona ngani ngoba ngibona abanye bashaya stroke kube njani nalapho futhi sichubeke solo singadini sibe solo badinga psychologist sithi hayi kusho ukuthi bayacabanga kakhulu asesibhedlela usedokotela kanathi namaphilisi nanga. In your field nguphi lapho khona umuntu angadibona khona ukuthi uyabona ke nyalo ngidinga ukuthi mina ngidimikise ku psychologist.
Njengoba ngishito ukuthi the good thing about the human body or the human mind, the beautiful thing about it, because I've been in love with psychology and the human mind for the longest time. When you are not okay, your body is the first thing that tells you. Okay. You understand? It tells you in so many ways. I say this all the time. Your body is always communicating with you every single time. And in languages that we use every day, your question, you mentioned 3 things: stressed, anxiety. All of those things is your body telling you that something is wrong and you need to go and see someone about it. Now, granted, I do understand sometimes I can't interpret the body, the language of your body. I have a headache. Imagine I pay nani. You understand? But solo I pay in so I always say we would say umtimba wakho masaqale ukukutshela sikhwala lokungekho right. Labanye abantu bakhona kulala, labanye balala kakhulu. You understand? Labanye abakhona ukudla, labanye badla kakhulu. Anything that changes within your daily routine.
Okay.
Go seek counseling. Okay. Go call counselors that are just free. You can even talk to your doctor, your normal doctor. Your doctor is trained to identify things. Okay. It's a psychologist.
Okay.
But again, you can always walk into any psychologist's office and say, I am not okay. The past few days, I'm glad. The past few days I'm stressing about ABCD. Or the past few days, the past few days, all I want to do is just be alone. Okay. And then the psychologist in training will be telling you if there's something worth looking into, or you're just going through the normal stresses of life. Right.
Ngiyayithanda ke le normal stresses of life. Usho ukuthi kunemehluko ku normal stress. Ungamhlukanisela umuntu ngoba lo munye utawubona ngale stroke ukuthi kusho sibe kungasi normal stresses of life ke lena. Ukuhlukanisa njani bantu labanje ngabo warawara kumbe labahlala embhodzeni ilanga lonke bafa kushayela bazi mabeva ukuthi emahlombe bathi normal stresses of life. Ukuhlukanisa njani lokuthi hayi kwakho normal ke lokho ke cha sekugabuzela.
All right, so earlier she does something about it interrupting your daily routine.
Okay.
So masibuka mental health, there are 8 dimensions of wellness that we look at. We're also looking at physically, emotionally, psychologically. Are all of those things in balance? Are they all working harmoniously? And you are fine, basically.
Okay.
So with normal stresses of life, it does happen. For example, nje fully phone call nyalo bathi esikoleni simfana bathi nga 600. Kutaba khona ukuthi sangimthatha phela 600. But everything else functions. You understand? You are khona kuchubeka umtfolelo 600 badali and you carry on. But the minute you get a phone call and then Leo phone call it's ifuna 1000 and everything stops. Awusakhona ukufunctiona, awukhona emsebenzini, awukhona ukudla, awukhona kwendani. That is now going beyond what the normal stresses of life.
Okay.
So it's a very thin line and most people need to be very very careful about that because the minute utakutshela ukuthi mina ngi strong, uyabona ndawuchubeka kanti sochubeka nge-flat tire. We understand. Like asakhona ukufika la kumele afike khona. So I always say when in doubt ask.
Okay. Okay. Nange mhlambe singakayi caffeine. Nanami umbuzo lo munye. Uma landlord njengana kwesikhathi sabo COVID abantu labanye abakayo emsebenzini. Landlord ufaka unqonqotha ngemandla lamnyango. Mangafuni ukubhadara uyangiqosha. Uyachamuka warawara uthi awuhamba ku psychologist uthi lo munye utangisita ngani psychologist mina ngidzinga imali mina. Utangipha yini le mali. Labantu labeva ngazo sibona isolution yabo banayo bayadi mina ngidzinga imali yesikolo yemntwana angidzinge yonke lento okuhlalisa phasi ngikhulunyiswe lide lana ngifuna imali. Nibahengilisha njani labantu labeva ngazo uthi uyathi ngimosha nesikhathi nje lana mina kuba ngikhomba ukuthi imali kuphi yathi ngabe yasebenza kumqoka ngani ukuthi bantu labantu abaqansi banato impendulo bowarawara labathi ne degree mina ngiyathi mina ngidzinga nako hayi yonke lento lo ngitshela ngayo nibahengilisha njani nethi kumqoka ngani because bakhona labasibukela ko vela beva ngazi ukuthi mina lo mfati wami uhanjiswa nje ukuthi ngidzinga imali mangathola imali umfati wami angabuya lokho kwenu lokuthi ngiyohlala phansi ngilalele etinganekwane ayikho yonke lento leyo nibadila njani abantu kanjalo.
Bakhona ke vele abantu abakanjalo warawara and isahlangana nabo kaningi but mina as a psychologist I always stress ukuthi la ku field of psychology asigedi kodokutshela ukuthi yendani.
Okay.
Psychologists sit down with you. Sihlale phansi sibuka ukuthi one le ngingalonayo iqalephi iqale kanjani. So siyabuyela emuva sivukulule ukuthi uzothi khanzalana nje kwendekani.
Okay.
You understand? And how is it that everything that you have done has led you to where you are?
Okay.
And now loku solana yini ma solutions that are related to you individually that you can come up with to not only solve the situation but to make sure it was awutikhanzi in the situation ever again.
Okay.
Because for example people in debt uma afika athi ngidzinga 100,000 I'll be fine. Nginika lo 100,000 and you will be fine for 6 months. But 6 months later you'll be in debt again. Okay. Why? Because we didn't go back to figure out how did we even get to where we are. You understand? So going back to your example ukuthi mina umfati wami hanjiswe imali. If you were to sit down with a wife angathi lona ngangiphathi kahle etuba lokuhambiswa imali makafika endlini akangivuseli nokuvusela kathi nje agcina you find all of these issues that when you wouldn't think are related to this big problem that you have. So psychologists are trained to look at the picture in a whole sense to say we would see I think there's this part and that part that you haven't thought about. Do you think we would see it could be related to the situation? So yabona nawe we would see I think bengacabanga ukuthi le abuse that I had when I was a child. Ngiyolele sengibanga ukuthi ngibe netinkinga emshadweni.
Okay.
We understand. So all of that's where psychologists come in because we take a long time to study this field. It's a good 6-7 years in university.
Okay.
So it's a long time to just sit in front of someone and tell them their problems. So there's a skill, it's a science, it's a medicine on its own.
Mbukeli uyayiva uyayichaza la nyambosi lana indzaba ukuthi wena ufana nemlo sedzakeni le khathi edanyini awadi nethi kuphunywa ngakuphi bona bafike ke basebenzise liso lelilanga lelapha etulo bayibona indlela kumbe longayisebenzisa athi kumbe bowuqabangileni kubheka ngendla ngoba ngazi ukuthi umfula ugeledo ubheke ngendanzi siyasola mawungabheka ngendla mudu khona kuphuma mudu khona kuthola imvunja ephuma kuningi lesitakukhuluma nabo bo psychology lapha kuva ukuthi bona babani kuyini inkinga lasebake babhekana nato yena nje la Nyambosi khona inkinga lebetheka Mthethwa sitawubona ngoba kulokunye vele asiva kahle uma wena ukhule ngesospan mhlambe unikwa konke kutangela plate sifuna ke kungena sive ukuthi ngabe yena empilweni ubuyaphi kukhona indaba ngasichushisa ngako ukuthi kumbe sitawuthemba ukuthi awunembala yathi kuningi lesitakufunza hlala nathi ke mbukeli sisathi kwanyalo ushelele ecafe. Sipheze sikumukele mbukeli ehlelo iyanclimba namhlanje nasihlelana nalombuso akaMthethwa psychologist kungabanikela abasebenza ingqondo sositshelile ukuthi bahlala bo 6-7 years badadisha nje ingqondo nje nyalo nje ngiyambona ukuthi uyabona ukuthi ngiqabangani nake lo mbuso lana sine challenge bani labaningi bayibacabanga ukuthi nisho ukuthi nje yena lo mbuso udenje inkinga tonke inkinga takhe nje usolvile nje yena mawuthi hayi nayo nato inkinga uthi manje utangitshelani ke lo mlohlulwa uhlulwa inkinga takhe unayo indvodza yena utangitshelani ngemshado wami nidila kanjani noma mhlambe how do you handle people labeva ngazuthi go through it before you can tell me how to handle my marriage, how to handle my relationship. Asengibone wakho umshado uqhakaza anze ubungitshele thinking atakami mina emshadweni ukuthi ngadisolve kanjani.
You know ukuthi la in terms of anything lokuthenga ukuthi uconnecta umuntu ngakho. Objectivity ihamba embili.
Okay.
Ngoba the minute utifaka esicatfulweni talomfulo uyayisolve ngendlela obungayisolve wena kanti lo mfulo nakasiye wena.
Okay.
So there is an advantage to going to see a psychologist longamati.
Okay.
Because utayibuka lenkinga yakho in an objective angle. Ukuthi okay, objectively this is the best way that you can approach lenkinga lonayo. Bahlale basho ukuthi dokotela kade laphi and this is the reason why. Naye dokotela makagula akade laphi yena uya kulabanye bodokotela to see ukuthi asengibe ngimle client namuhla kuchamuke dokotela lo tayibuka from an objective angle ukuthi angilaphi angiside kanjani because the minute uba subjective the minute uyithatha lenzaba uyifaka enyaweni takho angeke usakhona lokumsida ngalendlela lemele umside ngakhona. So akusithi ukuthi kumele size sithinking asihambe tikwato tonke ukuze sikhona ukusida. Njengoba ngishido sakufunzela sa understand ukuthi ingqondo isebenza kanjani, abantu bacabanga kanjani. Nokuthi thinking ati ba affecta kanjani abantu ngokuhlukahlukana.
Okay.
So umuntu uthine simthatha as an individual. So noma in a day ngingabona about 5 clients and bonke they are presenting with depression. Ngaba treated differently because their depression manifested differently. Bonke bobang 5. So there are 5 different individuals. It's not ukuthi bonke ndaba niketi compral akusebenzi kanjalo. Bonke they have a system and a method. So same thing ke nawe ukuthi thinking atakholonato mayobona psychologist makafika officeini lakho you are the first client they are seeing that day. So they are treating you as such. Inginga yakho unique and yakho wetfana but I solution ikhona. And then in terms of us having thinking asinato thinking because as psychologists we're human beings. And njengoba ngishito dokotela kade laphi. So nathi tetfu thinking amasetifikile kumele sihambe siyobona labanye bo psychologists.
Okay.
Mina nje I have a psychologist myself.
Okay.
That I go to lonaye ana psychologist wakhe lakaya kiyo because one sidila ngenkinga tebantu.
Okay.
So it can be very stressful and traumatic for us.
Okay.
For example nje if I go through a day and I'm dealing with rape cases after rape cases kufika umntwana lona 4 kufika umntwana lona 20 kufika you know a man who's been raped all of those things and the whole day I'm just dealing with grief and pain. Ngiyaphala So I need an outlet kwana nami. Ngambe ngilumni psychologist ngithi, you know what, I am not okay. Stress emsebenzi, stress sasekhaya, bantwana, imali, all of those things. So kwana nami I need someone lotangisida.
Okay. Kunetinvo letiye ridicule maswathi lamanye akakhala awu sithi siyobika bucala lokhu nje bayangihleka ngeva nje sokhuluma inzalo ethi indvodza lereshiwe. These are things lokhanza kuthi asikujwayele sisive labanye baze bahleka indvodza ireshwa njani indvodza kunokuthi indvodza ishaka ngumfadwayo labanye lamanye madoda aze benefear ukuthi nje ayokubika lento lena ukuthi ngireshiwe ngishaka ngumfati abinze umuntu afe kulokushaka nje lendlini. How do you deal nina bo psychologist ninayo yini comfort noma nayo yini inzawo yokuba accommodate labo bantu lokhanza even the public doesn't accommodate mina ngitsho ukuthi indvodza ireshwe njani manje wente njani ngoba mina ngiunderstand ngeke bagrape ungafuni indvodza. How do you deal?
First of all, the one thing that I always want people to understand is that when you get into a psychologist's office, even before I take you on as a client, anything longitshela kona mine, I am bound by the law to keep it within myself. Unless, of course, it is in your best interest, no matter there's some legal issues. But I cannot first and foremost. So anything longitshela kona, confidentiality protected by it. And secondly, there is nothing as a psychologist that I haven't heard. I've been doing this for 8 years now. So everything under the sun and so I know we would still especially abuse against men. As a society, it's neglected because the outcry is women and children, and rightly so. It's a genocide against women and children. But that's not to say we would say men don't get abused, and they do get abused. So as healthcare professionals, as psychologists, as NGOs, because I've been in the NGO sector for the longest time, we have fought the fight to give men the rights that they have. In a police station, without fear of being ridiculed, without fear of being discriminated against or anything like that. So we have done the fight. We've sensitized. We've done workshops. All of those things, and we've been getting the feedback from the public. Unfortunately, it's not something less I can't do that because what? I have to protect his confidentiality. But the work is being done, and so vele si mangikhuluma na client ngiyazama assure you know what, I'll be with you every step of the way, and I'll make sure your confidentiality is protected. And now please, by all means, if utokuya ema-poison lapha esgodweni bafike bakuhleke ukuthi udile report, let me know. There are laws that protects you against that. You have rights as a man, and we should be able to make sure those rights are protected and exercised.
Yeah, kan climba mani bese sekusuke nje khamba lesikhathi. Mhlambe sesitawuphuma nje ehlelweni. We are aware ukuthi nine movement ngathi mothers kunjanjanyana. Maybe mawungasithi nje hlabahlosi ufuqwa yini kokuthi uyoqala i-NGO lenakelela abanye bantu lengasasika ukuthi sesikhuluma ngabo psychologists wodanilana ndawo badara ndawo nisida lokho nje lokufaka sive ukungenelana ngani nalo.
Okay, so i-NGO yami is called Moms Club Eswatini.
Okay.
It is an NGO that looks at the needs of mothers from pregnancy all the way to delivery or 6 months of the child's life, basically. So mangimqala Moms Club ngimqala from my own personal journey. I have 2 children. I'm a single mom of 2, and I went through 2 very, very difficult pregnancies, traumatic pregnancies, abusive relationships, neglect, and all of those things. So going through Ganzibe Ngangula, I had something called hyperemesis gravidarum, which is you uhlanda from day 1, ma find out that you're pregnant all the way uziyobeleka. Labanye bafati bayekela like 3 months mineke kwami ukugula kuze ngiyobeleka phumela umfana. So during that I'm very very sick angikhona kuhamba khona kwendani. So to go through that alone was very very traumatic. Kuthi umlindi amshayela uthi baby ngizongiphathela ice cream kude ngimbaby mangifuna ice cream mina ngisukume ngihambe ngiyibona ukuthi ngithola. So I started thinking ukuthi labanye bafati benda njani, where do they go for support? Because at that time things like postpartum depression were now kicking in. Ukuthi saying about depression, about stress, all of these things. Where do women go for such help? So I decided to be that place where they go for such help. Where it's okay, if you are going through these things, where do you come to? So when Moms Club was started, it blew up. There were so many issues that most women were going through. You know, in terms of pregnancy now. You know, meaning ngamisiswa umuntu bengijola naye. Mawumithiswe umuntu from a one night stand wenda njani. Mawumithiswe umuntu loshadileke, you know, bona bongadi. All of these issues started coming up. So we had to expand Moms Club to the point whereby we tried ukuthi sitinake tonke letinkinga because there were now issues of infertility. Kusbayangithuka la khakham, kusolo angidali. How do I handle all of those things? So we expanded it to single moms, we expanded it to fertility issues, we expanded it to miscarriages. Women this is my 9th miscarriage. You know, like and about 3 years. How do I handle all of those things? So Moms Club expanded towards any issues that mothers have. Basically, we come together and we support you. Now, a service like that is very expensive because it's a specialized service and everything. So, emaswati go in psychology, I introduce. You understand? As a private psychologist, you can charge from 600 to 800 rand an hour, and a lot of people don't have that kind of money. So it had to be an NGO so that I can be able to reach the people that I need to reach. So it's a free service where you can come for the meetings or you can call to join Moms Club and we can help you the best way that we can help. And it's because nabo mage our members sebaya donate timbahla mfana timbahla setimshiyile kukhona lo matiko lo timbahla sesathatha leto timbahla sehamba so donate. So basically it's just mothers helping mothers in every situation that they find themselves in.
Mbwele uyathi lenzaba ngihlale ngisho ukuthi kayangiclimba maze sesicala siyotha bese sesiva nje sethi hawu sesiphelile isikhathi nanyalo ke mbukeli sesiphelile isikhathi but inzaba nayo ayibeka neya Moms Club nema psychologists why we need them siyakholwa ukuthi mbukeli nawe kukhona lokuthetha angade emava akhe kugcina lo mbuzo sophuma ehlelweni ungathina emaswadini.
Lengingakusho nje maswati lamahle ukuthi take care of your mental health. Your mental health isikhuluma ngayo kakhulu and uma usesekhona wena lungakase weva kukhulunywa nje nge-mental health ngingasho ukuthi it is important ukuthi utinake wena psychologically. If ungadi ukuthi kumele uyephi imitfolampilo ikhona onesi nabodokotela they will have a place to refer you to. Ufike ubude, but most importantly listen to your body, listen to yourself. Leyo nhlobo lesephelete days solo ikuphethe yinakhe yanesibedlela uyobuda ukuthi kwendiwa yini umkhono wami waka left akasasebenzise njani. It could be an indication ukuthi there's a mental problem that you are neglecting.
Mbukeli siyakholwa ukuthi wathethe onke lawo magama aqhwishisa ekugcina. Bekuhle mbukeli kuba kanye nawe ehlelweni. Akube kuhle bulate ihlelo lanzelako. Ingosi ikubusise. Bye bye.